This is Radio K, Real College Radio, and I'm here with...
Juanpalitoschinos.
Yee!
What's your guys' names?
My name is JP.
My name is Freenay.
Awesome. And how's South by Southwest going for you guys?
It's going great. It's pretty crazy. A lot of
crazy.
good bands, a lot of great things happening at the same time.
I'm overwhelmed, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
Awesome. And is this your guys' first time to South by?
Yeah, it is our first time, and we're excited to be able to come back in the future, hopefully.
I know. Hopefully it's not our last one.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you guys have seen so far?
Oh,
Depends. Negative weird or
Yeah,
good?
like at a show
Good
or
weird.
like on the street.
Yeah.
Good weird. Let's go with that.
Great.
Ah,
I would
good
rather that,
weird.
yeah.
We saw this Japanese act where she would like jump onto the crowd on like an inflatable like thing, and she would like crowd surf.
The show was done already, but she would still be like, let's keep
and people would
going."
like bring her back to the stage and be like, no, I don't want to go back.
Like she was yelling in Japanese, so it was like yeah, all the time. It was so weird.
that was like a good kind of weird
Yeah,
that
I
made
like
me
that.
smile.
Well, how would you guys, to those who don't know your music, how would you describe yourselves?
Ooh.
Handsome, tall, and
In the music?
and the music,
The
of
music
course.
would be groovy, melancholic, fresh pop disco.
Funky.
Cool. And I guess one thing I'm curious about is that if at the bio on South by it says that you guys are city pop inspired. Can you tell me more about that, I guess?
Yeah, well, really, this band began in like 2019, and it's when kind of like all those kinds of songs like Plastic Love and Tatsuru Yamashita and all those things were kind of like resurfacing on YouTube because you couldn't find them anywhere else. And that's one of the starting points for this project, you know, that kind of music, which really inspired us to start this project, and thinking of it kind of like in the sense of, well, let's just kind of make music that doesn't exist that we would want to listen to. And then more stuff started to come around, like Jamiroquai and like a bunch of other influences that came into the
Just happy,
Yeah, I know.
happy high melodies. You know, like it's a very American meets the '80s. I don't
Yeah,
know.
definitely.
You could hear it yourselves.
Yeah.
And how did you guys form as a duo? How did it all start up?
Ooh, well,
Ooh.
everything started by a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Yeah.
We were playing, and then back then JP had a band, and I've always wanted to be in the music industry, but I wanted to be a manager because I thought that being an artist was always like too hard, but I
Being a
couldn't
manager
escape
is
from
so much
that.
harder.
Yeah, I know. And then in 2018 we realized that we had a lot of music
Yeah, and even
Interests,
movies, like
yeah.
a lot of things in common. There's also like a lot of visual references in what we make.
yeah.
So
definitely.
cinema also really came into play at the beginning, and it was just kind of through a friendship of things in common and wanting to create more, I think.
Yeah, that's how it started, in a living room, just being bored by
Yeah.
having no money.
No money on a Friday night. Nothing gets more creative than that.
Awesome. And one thing I guess with the visual references, I'm curious, is there your new single, I believe, it's a single, right?
Yeah.
Cuando me hablas?
Yes.
Is there a visual reference on the cover for that? Because it's you two, what is it, holding hands going like this
Yeah,
on the
like
sides and with like Japanese letters. Is there any reference there?
I can think of a bunch. Yeah.
I feel like the main one would be more Cowboy Bebop from
Yeah,
anime.
there's a lot of that, and I think honestly for the cover we also kind of were thinking of like these old like advertisements in the 80s where they would have like these really shoddy graphic designs of like really corny things. So I think that wasn't even gonna be like the the picture, but it ended
Yeah.
up being, we tried to edit it a couple different ways, and the Japanese is phonetically literally just Juanpalitoschinos. So
All our covers from every single end up being that way. We never planned it, but they end up being aesthetically pleasing to look at. So yeah.
Do you guys create the covers yourselves?
yeah, we are involved in a bunch of the stuff, even the merch. Like, yeah, it's us in a living room again. Honestly,
Yeah.
most of the time.
It's very indie. I feel like at least this is like the pros. We get to, I don't know, be part of everything, and we don't have like a big crew to decide on like what to do. It's just us, and whatever we want to do with the project, we
Yeah,
will.
but that's the pro of it. You know, you can really have a handle on what you're gonna put out there, and you're proud of it because it's literally just
our
us
baby.
and a computer. So yeah, I don't know.
On the process of creation, how does the writing for each song usually go? Is it kind of a jam? Is it something you have in mind, like a melody you've been imagining, or?
Well, usually it starts in a living room actually. And there's a piano in my living room, and I kind of grab some chords, I start playing around with the piano, and immediately we sit down and we start just like doing melodies on top of it. Frine's really good at melodies, catchy melodies, and I get really, obsessed with lyrics. So I think that's been a good marriage as well. So we basically write the song from the beginning, and we have this demo, which is just like a voice note of us playing it and singing it. And if the songs, can stand by itself at that point, we can produce it any way we want, and it'll be good, because the song has to be good from the beginning.
Yeah.
If not, what's the point? If it has to rely on other things, then why would anyone listen to it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He said it pretty much. That's it.
Awesome. And I guess one thing I'm curious then is, how does your music translate live? Is it a lot of do you have a backing band? Do you use a lot of samples, sequencers? What are you using?
Well, we normally play in full band, and it's always a good bass, drummer, and keys, and then we have really nice backing tracks. But right now here in South by Southwest, it's quite low budget, so it's just backing tracks, our musical director and bass, Luis Alejo, and just the two of us.
And a lot more dancing, because a lot more is hanging on our shoulders. So dance twice as hard.
He just, no one saw, but he just did a little move.
I did a little move,
Yeah.
in case it wasn't in the frame.
Oh, right, yeah. We're on video, too.
Yeah.
People will see that.
People will. Oh man.
All right. Well, on that, what is I'm going to be very honest. I do not speak Spanish, so the lyrics go a little over my head. But what is are there lyrical themes that you put in your songs that are typical, kind of continuous?
Yeah,
Ooh.
definitely. I think there's a lot of like heartbreak in the songs.
Yeah.
But-
Romance is pretty much involved
Yeah.
in every of the lyrics, but we didn't know. I feel like we don't pay that much attention to the lyrics if them by themselves. Like, we pay attention phonetically. And what we normally try to do is do more, how do you say it? Relatable lyrics.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of themes that have kind of repeated in the songs. Definitely when we started, we weren't planning it that much, and we weren't that good at writing together. We were really good, but now that we've done a bunch of songs and we're finishing the record that's going to come out soon, I feel like we do look at ourselves and go like, what is this going to be about? And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
but are we the bad guys, or are they the bad guys? And what are we going to say?
Yeah.
So now we do have those kinds of conversations nowadays, but then we've done something accidentally as well, where the title of a song pops up in a different song. So there's like this kind of thing that people have told us, like, do you do that on purpose? It's like, no, we don't. But I guess we will. So there's kind of little details like that really come into play and kind of interconnect the songs into the record. And yeah, but the romance, I guess, a lot of romance.
Yeah. But as for English speakers, they have said that our lyrics in Spanish are very easy to remember. So they always say that they learn Spanish with our music. So I think it's a good approach.
Suck at Duolingo.
Yeah.
I mean, I think having used Duolingo, not that great of an app to use for that stuff. That's not going to go in the video now, is it? But yeah, I guess one thing I'm kind of curious is that also, I mean, that those themes seem kind of common also with the city pop that you draw a lot of influence from. Is city pop, would you say, the main thing you take influence on? Or are there like other artists or genres you kind of you are thinking of when you're making music?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it's very interesting. I think we always talk about it. I feel like city pop, of course, was like a big reference, but accidentally people have grabbed it as the main reference, whereas if you listen to our playlist on Spotify, you'll be able to see that, I don't know, we really like disco, house even, and it's more ballad-like even. And there are some references in city pop, but mainly the formula in that Japanese genre is very about, like high, long melodies, and we always do that. So accidentally, we became a city pop big reference.
But I think that the reference there really isn't even more about the sound. It is sometimes about the themes. But I feel like the conversation around that when we started wasn't really let's do that exactly. It was more like this music makes us feel this way. Because we don't speak Japanese. She speaks some of it, but it was kind of a feeling that really connected with us, and it was kind of like let's get to that. We're not arrangers. We're not great prolific musicians, but we do have friends that are better at playing instruments than us. But it was kind of like, let's just get to that place in our own way, and then like Finesse says, there's like a bunch of other influences that we started getting into disco, and then we started getting into like 2000s funk and stuff like that. So it's been a journey, but it definitely is where it began, but it has become so much more, to be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah. JP did good.
I'm curious, what kind of got you guys into music? I mean, you said you were in a band and that you wanted to be a manager but didn't necessarily want to be a musician. Is there something like some entry point you both had into music earlier on, or?
Oh, yeah. You go first. I think
I grew up, my dad's a musician. He's also, you can hear him in the bass of
he's our bass player.
Juanpalitoschinos, the project. And you can hear him live too. But I feel like every time there has always been an emotional link to music, and I've always wanted to make it, but I've never studied music. I've never went to Berkeley or any school in Mexico, so it was like too intimidating. Even I had a lot of respect, but I've always had this think about it, and like references, I'm really good reading the music, and I've always wanted to be part of it, but I was too scared, and now here I am having an interview in Radio K and touring.
Yeah. I mean, music, I guess for me, it was something I definitely fell into accidentally. Because my parents used to listen to a bunch of music, and my first experience with it was just in the car, like a lot of people, like listening to your dad's records and listening to stuff that you would have never heard. And then, I guess I have an older brother. We started this band. We grew up listening to the Strokes and Arctic Monkeys and the Cooks and Phoenix and all these kinds of bands that we wanted to be like, and we did. We did that, and it was really fun. And he's actually one of the producers in a bunch of the songs of Juanpalitoschinos, so we still work together. But yeah, I mean that.
It's like every trauma. It all starts with a family.
It all starts with a family. Yeah, but for me, it was just a way to express myself and to understand the world through my lens more than me wanting to be a rock star or anything like that. It was just the easiest way that I could find as a youth to get things out. So that's kind of why I'm in this touring and now doing all these things here with you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, with the tour, has there been a place that you're really looking forward to playing, a venue that, either here or in the future that you're looking to play?
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't know. I think maybe...
But is this about fantasy or reality?
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Ooh.
My dream has always been to play in Glastonbury.
Really?
That's always been my dream.
Wow.
There was this venue in Mexico City that we both loved.
I know.
That was demolished because of the earthquake. And it was the place where we saw all of our heroes, and it was called Plaza Condesa. It was for 2,000 people, but all the bands, like the Cooks, all these bands that we actually think that we met. Foles has played a bunch there, and it was like our dream to play there, and it got demolished. So
got demolished.
that is also a fantasy.
And now you have to go bigger, like Glastonbury.
Glastonbury.
All the way.
No, we'd love to go to Japan, honestly.
Oh yeah, Japan would be a dream come true.
We're working on it, but that would be the
it.
plan.
But nearby would be California. I think a lot of people always ask about California or the East Coast, like New York or Boston, and I think that would be very, very cool. Hopefully this year.
Hopefully.
Well, one thing I'm kind of doing is that trying to interview a lot of international artists up in Minnesota. Most people head to Chicago and then pass right over us. But I'm kind of curious about how would you describe like the music scene you're in to those who aren't in it, and like how do you fit into it? Are you like something that's really common there, like your type of music? Are you kind of something that's different?
That is an excellent question.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I don't think it's that common. I think we started in the pandemic. We were talking about this earlier. We started in the pandemic, so by the time we were actually able to play, like people knew a bunch of the songs because we had gone a bit viral on TikTok, and that was pretty crazy. But we started growing apart from the Mexican scene. So still to this day, there's kind of a rift between us and everyone else where we've had to do like our own thing and nobody really gets what we're doing.
We're like homeschooled children, so
Yeah.
like we never got to hang out with other people.
And we don't get invited,
later
and we
on.
don't get invited to the parties, and we don't get invited to anything, but everyone knows who we are.
Wait. Well, they are inviting us now, but it took us like 2 years to do to
Yeah.
be the cool guys.
Because a lot of people are like, yeah, them, you know them? And they're, yeah, I know them, but what are they doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like
but
that.
I feel like right now, indie, especially in Mexico, I'm just gonna talk about Mexico because Latin America is quite big. But Mexico has been more into house music or techno, and also implementing indie rock, pop sounds, and reggaeton. And I feel like Juanpalitoschinos has been like sticking through just singing disco and pop or whatever we want to sing. So I feel like we don't have any competition, but it's good
Yet.
because we don't have any competition.
Yeah,
so
it's a blessing and a curse, this thing that we're talking about, because and people have asked us sometimes as well, like, hey, like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing that kind of music?
Like, we just like it.
And honestly, we've had the tremendous luck that we've been successful doing the things that we wanted to make, and that we haven't had to pivot or change a lot of it.
Definitely.
Which is a blessing. Like, I'm so grateful that we've been able to do this and that it's turning out this way. So, but yeah, I don't think it's that common. There's a lot of bands. There's a lot of shoegaze as well in Mexico City,
yeah.
and they usually put us in that category. But yeah, and there's a lot of duos coming out, like boy and girl duos for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But we get lumped either visually or kind of like sonically into some places. But I think it is a bit different still. But hopefully we'll start something, and this will be the beginning of something.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Well, I was gonna say, I imagine that's something that's like, that's been like a symptom of like being TikTok famous, you know, getting viral over that rather than, because I feel like maybe you've experienced this with your the band before, but I feel like it's such a like going through the local bars and clubs trying to get plays and stuff like that. How has that experience been different?
Oh, dude, it's been so different, and I've had to explain it to her, because she hasn't been in another band. So like I said, like the first time that we actually got to play, like people were like screaming like two of the songs that were out because they were such big fans. And I looked at her and I was like, this is not normal. Like, this does not happen. You usually play it like, and she was also nervous here because a lot of people don't know us. But I was like excited, and she was kind of nervous, and it was like, well, you know, this is what you do as a band. Like, like by the time you get here in a normal band, you've played for a bunch of rooms where nobody cares, or for like 5 drunk ladies who ask for your number at the end. You know, and it's definitely different, but it's so nice to see that people care. What do you think? What's your
love
perception?
It. I don't know what's gonna happen the day no one shows up at our shows, because I'm used to not having that. It's a lot of energy, and
Yeah.
hopefully it stays like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
That's all I got to say.
Well, I guess kind of the last thing I like to ask everyone is, what are like 3 artists you would recommend to people right now from around the world, from wherever, across any genre, any place and time?
Oh, any place and time.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think I'd start with a band that really influenced me, and that we've actually become friends with them because of this band, and they're called Last Dinosaurs from Australia. I love that band.
We love them. They're very nice. They're a big reference, and the guitarist Lachlan has been able to play with us too.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's nice.
Thanks to this band. But
Who else? I've been listening a lot to this woman called Longbeard. I don't know where she is from. I think she's from the U.S., but I really like her synth pop, sad music. Is so pretty.
Dude, I like Sarah Kinsley. I think she's American.
Mm-hmm.
She's like Asian American, and I like the way she songwrites. I think it's so interesting, and she like puts it on TikTok, and she goes like, "Let's write a song," and then she does like a bunch of strange stuff, and I think she's great. But from Mexico, who could we recommend from Mexico?
From Mexico? That's a good question. Hold on a second. Can you edit that? We're thinking.
Or edit like thinking noises into this.
Take your time.
Oh, I would recommend this girl. She's really good, and she just dropped a new EP, and her name is Noah Signs. So good, so good.
And for a classic reference, I would tell people to listen to Luis Miguel.
Oh yeah, that's
He's a
our
big
city
reference.
pop.
He's like our city pop, and he's like this handsome man. Well, he's like 60 now, but he used to be really big, and he has a beautiful voice. He's one of the best Mexican singers you can find out there. So you should listen to that if you're
Luis
sad
Miguel.
or happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This has been Radio K with Juanpalitoschinos. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.